Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie podcast. Hopefully, having a great week. Welcome to Thursday. We're here. Another week. We're getting closer to fall, football season, all that. So, before we get into today's episode, just want to let you know this episode brought to you by Titleist and the brand new Pro V1, Pro V1X golf balls. For the best in the world, the goal is to improve every day. Same goes for all of us dedicated to this game, and it starts with choosing a golf ball you can trust. The Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X have set the standard for performance, and now they just got better again. Both models are engineered with high gradient core technology that delivers lower long game spin for more distance and more consistent flight. And of course, you can expect that trusted drop and stop greenside control, so important to shooting lower scores. Pro V1 is the best combination of distance, spin, and feel in the game and delivers a penetrating flight, where Pro V1X flies higher, spins more in the short game, while still giving you low spin on longer shots to maximize your distance. Outperform your best. Learn more about the new Pro V1 and Pro V1X at Titleist.com. So, get the old Pro V1. It's my ball, man. My good old ball. I need to do something like order my own like numbers or something like that. It was always kind of a cool thing to have your own number ball and all that. I did it a while ago when I was playing played a different ball. I ordered up different numbers, which was kind of cool. But another week. We're back. We're here, and I played some golf. I played let's see. I played Thursday night. I played Friday, Saturday. So I've got about 36 plus 9. So I've got about 45 holes in last week. I'm going to hopefully play tonight. And then who knows? Maybe this weekend. I don't think I'm going anywhere this weekend. So maybe I'll get an early 18 or something like that in. We'll see. I don't know. We get some stuff to do around the house that we've been neglecting all summer. Some just clean up maintenance stuff of just owning a home. So we'll see if the wife will let me get away. I don't know. Can't promise anything. But went out and played last week. Like I said, I played Thursday. Didn't play great on Thursday. I played okay. I had a few, but I had a couple holes where just it was blading stuff, or not even blading stuff, just hitting stuff a little low in the face, and it was just carrying farther. Stuff like on the second hole, we played the front nine at St. Clair Shores. In the second hole, I hit a 4-iron that I didn't hit great, but I thought it was good enough to get over the bunker in the middle of the fairway. It didn't, so I walked up. I'm in the fairway bunker. As you guys know, I absolutely hate fairway bunkers. It's out of all the shots in golf, I'm the least confident in that. I'd rather hit a flop shot over a bunker to a short-sided pin than hit out of a fairway bunker. But it was only like 125 yards, something like that. It wasn't that far, so I just had pulled out pitching wedge, and the wind was blowing a little right to left. And anyway, just hit a absolutely really flush shot. It was great. Got up in the air. Started turning left, and then went all the way into the bunker on the green. Like there's a green side bunker on the back left side of the green. Went right into that bunker on the upslope. So the whole green slopes back to front. So I have a whole sloping green, all that, and then the bunkers at St. Clair Shores are not consistent. And if you're in the center, they've got some sand in them. They poured some sand in them recently, but when you get onto the upper and lower and the down slopes and the up slopes, they get a little thin, and I basically hit behind it like I wanted, or pretty much like I wanted to. Club hit the ground, skidded into the ball, hit it across the green, had to chip back. So it's like I just made some just dumb mistakes like that. That, I mean, they're my fault. I'm not going to blame it on the course because I should have dug the feet in a little more, or whatever, and taken that into consideration. But I had some stuff like that just, hit a great bunker shot followed by a terrible bunker shot. And then, had to chip it on and all that. So I think I made like double there. But other than that, I hit it okay. I just didn't score well, didn't hit a ton of greens. And then there was just stuff like, that, and then another one. So I get to 6, which is the short par 4, little dogleg right, and I've been hitting driver there more, which I never did because if you hook it, I hit it into I-94, the freeway. So I've always hit like a hybrid or something like that. But I'm hitting a driver more just because I have more confidence in the shop, and I kind of look at it as like a field goal. The green's in between these two sets of trees. Just try to hit in there, and usually I hit it down there, and I'm just in the rough or whatever. but I'm like, 100 yards, less than 100 yards in. Well, I kind of have like early extension up out of it, snap it over to the right, and I'm basically in the rough, almost into the 16th fairway, because those two holes run next to each other. And I wait my time for the guys playing 16 to go by, and then I walk over to my ball. I mean, it's sitting in the rough a little bit, but it's nothing that looks like a flyer lie. If anything, it's kind of sitting down. And I laser the pin. I got 116. I pull out, and it's into the wind. Like the wind was coming across from left to right. Into the wind. Hit a really solid pitching, like choke down pitching wedge. And it flies to the green, bounces off the fence that protects 6 green from the freeway. And I was over by, like 10 yards or something. Pitching wedge for me is a 130 club anyway. And then I hit it 125, whatever, into the wind, and went long there. And then I hit, a decent little wedge shot on. But again, coming down, being below the hole, coming up over, landing it, roll. I still had 15 to 20 foot putt coming back, and just little things like that just I either didn't play the shot right or whatever, and just kind of got unlucky. But anyway, it was a good round there. And then I played with 3 of my buddies. We went up to the northern part of Michigan. A friend of mine has a place up there on a lake, and we went up near the Roscommon area. And unfortunately, couldn't get on any of the big courses because we kind of planned it last minute. But we went out and played. The one on Sunday was called the Patriot. I don't remember what the one on Saturday. The one on Saturday was called the Patriot, and I don't remember what the one on Friday was called. It was kind of on our way up. It was kind of right. It was kind of just like Freeland, Midland area, but played over there, and kind of a cool little setup, interesting little course. It was kind of fun, and that one played like lights out for like half of the round, and then the other half really struggled. So we did a little 2-man kind of 6-6-6. We played, 2-man. We started off with a 2-man shamble. And then we did a 2-man best ball, and then 2-man alternate, unmodified alternate shot, and then 2-man scramble. So we kind of played 2 and 2, and played for some beverages. And we walked off, me and my buddy Dave, playing amazing. We birdied the first 3 holes, and we're just steamrolling. And then we walk off. I think the 4th hole we finally tied, or something like that. And then we ended up losing one. So we were up 3 after the shamble, and we're like, feeling pretty good. And then best ball, we just fell apart. We absolutely fell apart in best ball. We were just, it was one of those, like, we just didn't ham and egg it. When somebody hit a bad shot, we both hit bad shots. We both hit good shots, or when somebody hit a good shot, the next guy hit a good shot. It was just, we couldn't keep it together. And then I think we ended up being down 1 or something like that after best ball, after alternate shot. And then we went into scramble. We pushed it all the way to 17. We were down 2. I think we won 16. And then we were down a couple, 116. And then we had to win out. It was basically dormy. And then we tied 17, and that was it. So we lost there, had to buy a round. And then on Sunday, we did the exact same thing in this course called the Patriot, which was kind of a cool little course as well. Not as nice of condition. And the only reason I say that, like, the fairways were kind of that, like, really long cut. Like, they weren't rough, but they weren't, like a real tight cut. And they were a little longer than the course we played the previous day. And the previous day was just, a little long as well. But the greens were good. They rolled well. Even for the first round we played, the greens were, like, aerated, and it was still... They rolled pretty decent and all that. You can tell they were recently punched, but they still rolled pretty good. I made a bunch of putts there, and then I made no putts on Sunday, so it kind of made up for it. But we had a whole lot of fun. It was good. The weather was nice. It was a good time. So I don't remember what we shot. I want to say, like, I think it was something like the 2-man shamble between both teams. We were like -1 or something like that combined on the on that 6 holes or whatever. But it was fun. We had a good time. And then in the league, I think I shot 38 or something like that, 39. I made a bunch of pars, and then had just a bunch of kind of like those bogeys, doubles that just kind of killed me. So I think I shot 38, which was still good. I think I birdied 9 to shoot 38, or something like that. I hit a really good drive. I kind of was upset with how I played. I just played the par 5, number 8, really poorly. I hit a pretty good drive down the, right down, or I think right down the fairway. And then I was on the right side of the fairway, had like 230 in or something like that. Hit 7 wood and kind of left it out right. It hit the cart path and bounced all the way backwards behind. There's like a little row of tiny pine trees that separate 8 and 9 fairway, or 8 green, 9 fairway. And bounced all the way back there. I had no shot. I mean, I literally had to just try to like play it as low as possible and run it onto the green. I actually hit it into the hill, on the side of the hill on the 8, which was kind of what you were trying to do. I mean, you're just trying to kind of get lucky. But it had a little too much on it. Hit, bounced over, rolled over. Made bogey on a hole where I was, beyond pin high in 2, which was not fun. And so 9, I was a little frustrated. Hit driver down there, and I hit it. I mean, it's a really short little par 4, but it kind of has a little dogleg to the right. And there's trees there that if you can get it up over them real quick, you can kind of hit it down there pretty far. But I usually just play that one safe too and hit like, hybrid off the tee or something like that. But anyway, hit driver there, ripped it down to like right next to the greenside bunker. I was actually in between like the greenside bunker and the green. I was probably 10 yards off the green. Hit a little wedge on. Hit a little wedge on right towards the hole. Had about 4 feet or something like that. And I think I made the putt. So ended it on a high note. But there was some struggles going on Thursday. But Friday had a lot of fun. Hit driver really, really well. I brought, of course, as usual, I brought 2 drivers. But one of them was the one with the driver shaft we're going to talk about today. And but brought 2 drivers, and I really hit driver well. Hit my woods well. Wedges on courses like that where you can't really spin it a ton. I always kind of struggle with a little bit because I hit the greens and stuff. I just like the ball tends to release more than I want. I just struggle a little bit with that, but hit driver really, really well. Both of them that I brought. I think I had TSR 2, and then I also had Stealth 2, the standard Stealth 2. I had both those going, and had different shafts swapped between the 2 and all that. So it was a good weekend of playing, messing around, so what I was hitting most of the weekend, or all 3 rounds there, and then I was hitting a little bit today out of my on my mat with a launch monitor, was the brand new Graphite Design Tour AD VF6. So this is the new one there, the VF6. It's got the red and black motif on it. So red handle, black lower section, the typical, the very iconic rings on the shaft. And the VF stands for Victory Force, which you can't have victory without force, is kind of the marketed side of it. But this here is kind of their, as a brand new idea, it's going to be kind of their mid-low launch, low spin shaft. And I know that the CQ just came out a little while ago, and that's more of kind of a mid-high launch. So this is going to be kind of your more stout, lower launch, lower spin shaft for those guys looking for that profile. And then this profile here where you're going to have, as Graphite Design labels it, very stiff is kind of the stiffest section they make. And then it goes all the way down to soft. So you've got a firm plus handle section, a stiff mid section, and then a very stiff tip section. Sorry about that. That was my wedding ring hitting the shaft. So really stiff tip section, slightly softer mid, and then a slightly softer butt. But so I was pretty happy though, because firm plus in the butt section is about as stiff as Graphite Design gets. The VR is firm plus, and as is my my favorite Graphite Design shaft, the GP, firm plus in the handle, and both the VR and the GP are both shafts I've really liked. I've played in a bunch of different clubs. So I was pretty excited to get the VF in my hands to try it. And basically have a 60 gram X. Been playing it in driver. Been playing it 45 inches. No tipping, straight in with my all-fit adapters. So no tipping, anything like that. But overall, like the look of the shaft, like the red is very, very classic. It's got the new Tour AD logo kind of on it, up near the handle, which is kind of the more, I don't want to say cartoonish, but the heavier outline, and then the accuracy and distance little logo down near the tip. So overall, just a classic looking shaft. I mean, straight black. I think there's a little bit of metallic in it when you're outdoors. Down here, you don't see it, and then the red is kind of a nice candy red or so color there, but very classic, very subtle. I think anybody who is very picky about the color and designs and stuff like that of their shafts, this should fit very well. And all you see really in terms of graphics are their rings here under the handle section, which you don't even really notice once you start really playing it. It matches very well in the Stealth 2 heads when I was playing it in there. And it also, fits well, the all black, 3/4 of the shaft being all black. It fits very well with the TSR2 as well. But overall, good looking shaft. I like, Graphite Design's graphics. I like how they keep kind of everything very similar. They just kind of change the different colors here and there for shafts. But no, the VF, I was excited to hit it. Mid-low launch. It gets kind of I typically play stuff more mid-launch, but mid-low, I figured, I could definitely get it out there and play it. And I will say the initial thoughts in terms of just feel, definitely a stouter feel than a lot of the Graphite Design stuff I've hit lately. Definitely has a stout, tight feel to it. It's you're not going to notice this load as easily as, say, like an HD or even the UB. I feel, which is a little more stouter feeling. I feel this has got just a little more rigid feel to it than the UB. Still super smooth though, no harsh vibration on impact. And honestly, when you do feel it load, when you get a good swing on there, it does load a little bit. And even being mid-low, you will get a lot of feel out of this thing. So, like I said, I was hitting it in TSR2, I was hitting it in the Stealth 2, and then I was also hitting it in the Cobra Aerojet LS, so hitting it all 3 heads. And the LS, I'll tell you why, this thing when it's paired up, and the LS is kind of a unique thing. When you hit a dead center, you can really feel that ball just compress off the face, and it gives you all that feedback really, really well. So no harsh feeling, no harsh vibration, anything like that in this shaft. I kind of do, consider it similar in terms of feel to something like, a kind of almost a Ventus Black. It kind of has that feel where you can feel the tip section's really stiff. I would say it kind of fits, like slides in just between a TR Blue. It's almost like a slightly stiffer TR Blue, I guess. It's got that stiffer, really, kind of stable handle section. You can really feel there's a stiff tip there, but you still get a little kick out of that midsection there, which is pretty nice. In all the heads, hit some really, really long drives. My buddy Adam, who was playing with this, is a good player. Has a little more speed than me. Typically hits it, not anything crazy, but hits it further than me. And him and I both hit pretty good drives. He's probably got me by 5 to 10 yards on majority of holes. And when I was putting good swings on this thing, and he's playing a pretty new driver. I think he's got a TSI 3 that he got fit into. So he's playing something pretty modern, pretty new. And him and I hitting balls out there. When I hit a good drive, he hit a good drive. We were like right next to each other. He may have me by a yard or two here or there, and there was a couple where I got him. But for a guy who typically is longer than me, I was hanging right there with him, which was pretty cool to see. Trajectory, honestly, it wasn't as low as I was expecting. I was kind of expecting one of those things where I was going to struggle to kind of get it up in the air, struggle to get it, to launch it, figuring out how to mess with the head and add a bunch of loft and all that stuff. It wasn't really the case. I started out in the Stealth 2. That's a 10.5 degree head, and hit it really well right out of the gate, just in the standard setting. My TSR2, same thing, left it in standard setting as with the Cobra, and hit them really well. I ended up doing a little tweaking on Saturday. I moved this thing up to just a plus 0.75 on the TaylorMade head, and noticed just launching it a touch higher, I got a little more carry out of it. But I think mid-low is a great description. It was for me. I think it launches just a little bit lower than a Ventus TR Blue, which I consider kind of a mid-low shaft. I think it's a little flatter than that, and it definitely is kind of a low spin as well. Miss hits, they stay on line really well. Lately I've been kind of I've got 1 or 2 misses. I'm either toe, and a little high toe, and I throw it off to the left, and we see a big hook, or I have that nice early extension, and I snipe it off the bottom part of the heel. So I get both of those going. when I'm playing. And in terms of stability, this thing is really, really stable. I hit a lot of those kind of low heelers, and that ball stayed on line really, really well. It didn't peel off hard right, anything like that. If anything, was just right of the fairway, just sitting in the rough, and the ball went pretty much dead straight. You saw very little curvature to it. It was just kind of like a little straight right shot instead of being something that kind of started right and peeled off, and you lost it in the woods. And then shots off the toe, same thing. They just kind of went high and straight. They may have that little draw to them and kind of fell. And yes, they didn't go as far as a shot that was purely flushed, but they did stay on line really, really well, and it's pretty impressive how well it did that. The shaft feels tight throughout the whole swing. You never feel like the head's just kind of getting away from you, or where is it, or that it's either kind of releasing too quickly or holding back. It really was something that I squared up pretty easily, and I think I'm probably on the border of being an X-Flex with this. When you're at kind of that 100 to 104 guy, I'd probably be, realistically, I'd probably be fit more into a stiff if you go by just straight club head speed. But even the X was playable, and just had a really tight feeling, really smooth. I mean, if you're going to buy a Graphite Design Tour AD shaft, I mean, you're pretty much expecting that smooth feeling. So you were getting that, but the launch, like I said, I think mid-high was, mid-low was definitely a great description of it. Spin was really low as well. Everything was a really penetrating ball flight. And even the balls that you did hit, like a little fade or a little draw, they were pretty controlled. I mean, there wasn't... I think I hit one ball that, and again, this is more my swing, that I came over the top, smothered it, hit it left. I mean, there's no shaft out there that's going to save that shot, but those toe misses that you hit out there, they just didn't, they got up there, they started drawing, but they didn't just go hard. I mean, you were always in play. You never had to worry about, like, oh, is that ball dead, or is it, is it going to hit and run forever and be gone? It all stayed in play really, really well. And, it felt like it generated a little bit of ball speed for being a mid-low launch shaft. I mean, I feel when you get in that mid-low to low launch shaft kind of characteristic, I feel like a lot of those shafts, you don't really you don't feel a lot of kick or anything like that. This one has a little bit, and I think that's what I loved about, like, Vent is Black, the original one, was that it had a little kick, had a little feel, and this definitely has that for being a mid-low launch and low-spin shaft. I went outside today and just hit a bunch of balls between the Cobra head, the LS head, and my TSR2 head. I was just hitting balls just to see kind of what spin numbers were like. And with both those in standard settings, both 10.5 heads, you were looking at between 2,400 and 2,700. I think the highest shot I ever saw on there was a 2,800, which was one where I never released the club. I kind of left it open, and you would have been, kind of that high fader. I never saw a ball go over 3,000 RPM. So, and I was hitting Srixon Z-Stars, the brand new ones. But yeah, nothing was over. Everything was pretty much 2,600. There were a couple times when I almost had to double check and see, like, is the monitor really reading? Because that number is really, really similar to what it was in the last shot and all that. And it was just very consistent, right in those kind of mid to slightly higher, just above mid 2,500 spins. And no matter where I hit in the face, that didn't vary a ton. So, and between driver, you went from Cobra Aerojet LS to TSR2. Those kind of stayed all around that area, no matter what head, all that. So for me, that's a pretty low spin number. I mean, I'm a guy who's right around that, maybe a touch higher, 2,800, something like that is kind of where I ride in. And this was that like 26-ish. But it definitely wasn't too low. I mean, when I was on the course, never saw anything where a ball went out and just dropped out of the sky or anything like that. But really consistent low spin, and it's worked kind of in all three of those heads. I mean, if I had to say anything, I think the TSR2 is probably kind of the least consistent. I think that the Stealth 2 I hit really, really well in this, and then the same thing with the Cobra, the Aerojet LS. Those two I really hit well with this shaft. It just paired up well, and had a good feel throughout it. And yeah, this VF6 is just really, really solid. I know a lot of the Graphite Design stuff, when people ask about it, they don't make a lot of stuff that's, lower launching and spinning. And to see this one here, I think they did a really good job with bringing this bad boy out. And I think there's going to be a lot of players who are, looking for something maybe a little lower launching than, say, if they had like an HD or a UB or something like that, looking to just lower that flight a little bit, this is going to be a really good option because you're not going to have to give up that smooth feel, that soft feel, and you're going to still have all that control, all the consistency in a good package. And it's a really, really solid shaft. I know that every time I feels like I hit a Graphite Design shaft, I'm always kind of like, this is kind of my favorite. And UB is kind of one of my favorites, and I think I might like this one a little bit better. Now, I think for me to go play it on a regular basis, which, it's going to get a lot of playing time in my bag, I'm probably going to have to go up just a touch a bit in loft on those heads, but it's not a big deal. I mean, just going up a touch, nothing crazy, but if I go up with kind of that 0.75 on the all-fit adapter, it seems to be the perfect amount to kind of just get that just a touch more launch out of it, while still not, adding any spin or anything like that. And so I think that's going to be kind of the play with this thing, and it's kind of, I like it a lot. I mean, in terms of all time, is it dethroned GP yet? I mean, we'll see. I haven't hit a GP in a long time now. It's been a while, but the VF is really, really solid, and you can tell they on their thing they use in this thing the Toray M40X. They use T1100G. They use some high end carbon in this thing, so it definitely shows in terms of performance and feel. But really, really impressed with the VF because. I was kind of worried that I wasn't going to be able to generate enough height to play it, and I definitely did, and it was definitely playable with just a slight tweak of the head, which was really nice. I mean, I could have played it in the standard 10.5 setting. That wouldn't have been a big deal, but just cranking it up that just that touch added enough loft where I saw definitely some good distance gains, and hung with a guy who usually hits it a little bit farther than me, and hung with him pretty much for 2 days. So it wasn't just a one drive fluke. It was hanging in there and hitting drives right up with him, which is pretty nice. So really impressed with the new VF. If you want to check out more, you're gonna go to Pro's Choice Golf Shafts. So they're the distributor for Graphite Design in the U.S. and Pro's Choice Golf Shafts.com. They've got all the info. It's pretty cool. I love it. Their site just has so much info. I mean, it's got all the shaft profiles and the launches and all that stuff. They pretty much give you all the info on these shafts. But on there, you'll be able to kind of find the closest dealer to you and get to find out where you can hit this. It says these are coming out in October, so next month. I don't know exact date on when that's going to be, but these should be out to your fitters pretty soon, so you can get out, start hitting them, do some fittings, try them out, and see which weight flex works for you. Like I said, this is a VF6 and X, no tipping, straight in, and it's probably one of those things where I can play it, and I played it really well, but I feel like in my 100 to 104 type speeds, the stiff would probably be the best fit, maybe tip it a touch, but the X played really well, so I'm not going to change anything there. And I was playing it basically at 45 inches in all the heads, so this thing's cut down to play a pretty standard length. But overall, really impressed, really liked the VF. If you're somebody looking for kind of that mid-low launch, something with some feel, but you want to keep all that control and still keep the ball flight down a little bit, this new VF, when it comes out here next month, I think it's definitely something worth giving a shot. And go on, find the dealer who's close to you, and go tee this thing up and give it a shot, because it's I think it's going to be a pretty popular shaft. It's pretty impressive, and it's kind of that shaft that you don't see a lot of Graphite Design stuff in the mid-low launch and low spins. So I think this is going to be pretty popular, especially with a lot of golf WRXers who kind of fit into those profiles a lot. So the new VF Victory Force from Graphite Design, really, really solid. I've been a big fan, and I'll be hitting this more. I definitely will. I'll definitely be making into some more heads, and this thing will make the rotation throughout the fall as I play, and into the winter. So right now, I do have to say this is probably right up there with the TR Blue and those guys in terms of stuff I'm going to be playing for a while and deep into next year as well. So VF from Graphite Design, like I said, Pro's Choice Golf Shafts.com. go on there. You can take a look at the rest of the specs on this shaft and any other Graphite Design shaft that you want to look at. And like I said, they're pretty impressive with what they give you per shaft. They really give you a lot of info on there, which is pretty cool. And check out which dealer is closest to you and go give that thing a hit, because it is pretty good. I was a big fan. So next thing we'll talk about is we're playing some wedges. And playing some wedges lately and I'm playing a decent amount of wedges. I mean, we played the MG4s just a little bit ago, and now messing with Mizuno's T24s. So the new T24 wedges from Mizuno. These will be just got announced. What is it? Just the other day, like this week, last week, and they were kind enough to send in some media samples here, and I've been playing these things a little bit, and I'm pretty impressed with them so far. So I've been messing with. This is a T24 50. I think is this the standard grind? Yeah, the 5612 S grind was the one I've been messing with kind of the most. It's been in the bag probably the past 45 plus holes. Played it with quite a bit, and then actually, yeah, because I played it down in cold water, I think, as well. And then I took out the 5810 V grind, which I know a lot of people were kind of asking about, and this one's in that denim copper finish, which is a really cool finish. Kind of like a brushed copperish, it's got a little black in it, whatever, and as it wears, it tends to be a little more copper color as well. But the copper finish in the 58V, and that's a 10-degree bounce, and then the 56 in the standard S grind, which is a little bit of trailing edge relief, a little bit of heel, a little bit of toe, but it plays with a pretty much full sole on there. So, and then they make a plethora of grinds on here. I think there's like 5 or 6 grinds that they actually make, which is pretty cool. Yeah, there's 5. So the S, you got a D grind on there, and they're slightly different than, I know they have similar names, but they're a little different than, say Voki or whatever. The D grind is kind of a mid bounce with a little more relief on the toe and the heel. And then you get into the C grind, which has a lot of, it's a mid-high bounce with a lot of relief from heel to toe. And then you get the V, which probably has the most relief, which is kind of a higher bounce wedge with a lot of relief. And then there's the X, which is heel and toe relief, super low bounce. They did send in one of those. I think it was a 60, I want to say it was like 4 or 6 degrees of bounce. It's like super, super low bounce. So it doesn't really necessarily fit my game there too well. Yeah, it was a 58.4 in the X. And I was like, yeah, it's just too low. And then 3 finishes. So this 56 here is the white satin, which just has a kind of a satin, almost kind of like media blasted type finish. Really uniform, nice look to it, no glare whatsoever. And then the denim copper, which I showed you there. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can kind of see as I put these wedges in front of you. The denim copper, super, super cool. And then they make a true raw. They call it Tour Raw. And when it comes out of the box, it actually doesn't look raw at all. It looks almost like polished steel, but it will rust right away. And it's not just a raw face or anything. Whole head is raw. So make 3 finishes, and I think almost every wedge, except if you're a lefty, and the lefties, I think they make the left hand, but left hand I think is only in the white satin. So don't quote me on that, but I think it is. But they're making a ton of bounces or a ton of options in this. Anything from 46 all the way down to 60 in 2 degree loft increments. So you're going to get basically 46, 48, 50, 52, and so on. But yeah, it is, the 56, I was really excited because the 56 kind of fits my bag. They sent in a handful of 58s. I don't really play a 58 that often, but I did I wanted to try that V grind and take it out. So I had some 56 and some 58s. I didn't get to try the 46, 48, 50, 52, any of those. They didn't send any of those in with media samples, so didn't get to hit the gap wedge side of it, but the 56 I played a lot with. And the first thing you want to know, are they soft? Yeah, they're really soft. They're really, really soft wedges. When you hit them in the center with like a 3/4 shot and it just goes, it's almost like you didn't hit it. It's just that thud. It's super soft. The ball just leaves and that's it. They feel extremely good. Small shots around the green feel good. Full shots, I mean, 3/4 to full shots, super, super soft. I mean, just like you'd expect, kind of like that butter soft. I mean, just you don't even feel it leave the club face. Stuff around the green, you're going to feel it just a little bit more. But when you're hitting in the center, it always feels really, really good. And even if you slightly miss it, if you're just outside of it, it still has a really good feel to it. You're definitely going to get a little firmer feel, a little more click, a little more audible sound to them, like you would expect with any wedge. But overall, the feel on them is really, really impressive. I would say the only thing that I've hit this year that's probably softer or about the same would be probably that Vega Alcor wedge. That was crazy soft as well. These, just as soft. And these are the, GrainFlow forged HD, 1025 carbon steel with the boron. So, the same stuff they're using in a lot of the forged MP series irons and all that is being used here. Overall shape, I really like them. I really like the shape a lot. They kind of have a little more of a compact look. They're very rounded when you get out to the toe, and they're very rounded when you kind of get around the top of the wedge. The leading edge is just got a touch of radius to it on the 56, and they even talk about it where it's supposed to be straighter in the gap and pitching wedges, and then when you get into the sand wedges, they just have a touch of radius to them, and when you get into the 58 60s, they add just a little bit more radius on those for playability. But even the 58, when I was looking at it after I read that, I mean, it's got a little curvature to it, but it's not much, and I'm a guy who likes a straight leading edge. Like, I'm a big fan of straight leading edges, even on lob wedges, and these things have very, very little curvature to them, just enough to make them kind of have a softer look to the eye. But I like the more rounded look. I think that looks really good. When you're hitting this next to, say, like a Milgrind 4 Tiger Woods, the toes are completely different. The Milgrind 4 is much, much more boxy, but these have a really, to me, pleasant look to them. I think the shaping from hosel to leading edge and the hosel into the top line, I think they did a really good job. It's very clean, very easy to look at. There's not too many angles or anything going on there. And overall, just a really classic, good-looking shape. When you look at the back, same thing. Really, really classic look. Not a whole lot going on, just the T24 logo. Little chrome line, and then or I think they call it the Roadrunner there in the back cavity, and that's it. So if you're someone like me who likes to stamp stuff, stamper's dream. There's tons of room on there to stamp whatever you like, and just really clean. They definitely have, when you look at kind of the cavity from like at the toe, you can definitely tell there's a little more mass. They push that up, out near the toe, so you get good performance if you hit it high in the face. And then these things here have, the quad cut plus grooves, so they're to the legal limit, and then they're slightly adjusted, so when you get into the gap wedges, the pitching wedges, all that, they kind of adjust the groove to be a slightly less aggressive. And as you get into like the sand and lob wedges, they make them ultra aggressive, to the limit. So you can kind of control spin with wedges that you're going to hit more full shots with, and then you're going to get the maximum spin out of these wedges that that you're going to hit kind of partial shots and shots around the green with. They also have the HydroFlow micro grooves. So in wet weather, it kind of moves more moisture away, better contact, more friction. So you see a little less spin, or you keep the spin up. You don't see as much left. And then it's other than that, forged in Japan. I also like too that when you look at kind of the leading edge, it is pretty dead. It is pretty blunt. It's definitely not sharp. So if you're somebody who plays like me in a lot of soft conditions, that kind of gives you the confidence that the thing isn't going to dig. And I do have to say the 5612S, did not dig at all. It gets through the turf really well. The trailing edge relief, the heel and toe, it gets through the turf pretty quick. If you open up the face, the leading edge is going to come up a little bit. Even if there's relief there, if you play stuff that's super tight, this thing's going to raise that leading edge just a little bit. It's nothing too bad. I don't play such tight and firm courses where I notice it coming off the ground so much where it affects my visual or what shot I'm going to hit or anything like that. Especially in a 56, I don't open the face a ton. I may open it just slightly on like a little pitch shot or something like that to try to add a little spin if I'm trying to stop it, or it's a little downhill. The pin's a little downhill or something like that. But I don't manipulate the 56 a ton. So square shots with this thing, played really, really well. The turf interaction was quick. It was smooth. Feel was extremely soft, and the spin was really, really good out of pretty much any lie. The stuff off the fairway, anything tight, you're going to get a lot of check. You're definitely going to have to hit it to the hole because that ball's going to hit, check up, and that's it. It was kind of that one hop, hit, and then maybe one or two rotations, and that was pretty much it. And then out of the rough and even wet. I mean, I played in the morning a lot with these things, a lot of dew. The spin went up like you expect it would be out of the rough and wet rough, but it was still pretty controlled. And the only way that you were not stopping a ball is if you're landing it on a downslope and the ball was running away. There's not a wedge out there that doesn't have crazy box screws that's going to be able to stop that shot. So everything there very controlled. Very predictable. Shots hit high off the toe, play pretty good. You could still carry some distance, still carry a little bit of spin. You still had some control with those shots, and stuff hit dead flush. It was just money. I mean, it made you want to hit it in the center when you hit it flush. It was just that good feeling. The other thing that's really cool with these, they come with a tour issue, a dynamic gold tour issue S400 wedge shaft as the stock option. And then also, which I'm pretty sure that is, I guess I have to look at shaft wise what's on there. But the one here is tour issue S400, and then a Golf Pride Decade MCC Decade grip in black and gray. So I'm pretty sure that's we didn't ask for any crazy specs or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure these are just what come with it. And that's pretty high end, pretty nice to get that right out of the gate. But overall, really, really solid. Like I said, the 56S, great out of the trap. When you open the face, there's a lot of sole there, a lot of bounce, floats really well. Now I did find on a really, really firm bunker, it can be a little detrimental if you come in just behind the ball and it kind of bounces up and kind of blades the ball a little bit. But that isn't the wedge's fault. That's me not hitting the right shot out of that bunker and probably having grabbing the wrong wedge. But overall, been really, really liking these things. You can kind of play a lot of different shots with them. Even this S-Grind, I mean, like I said, I don't manipulate the face the most with a 56, but I'll open it up a little bit and kind of hit it. I like that this sole, you can kind of get aggressive, get down, hit it into the turf, and it's not going to dig. It's not going to, you're not going to hit it fat. It's going to hit that turf, get through it, and you can kind of play with all the bounce there and use it to your advantage, even in soft conditions like up here. But a really, really solid wedge. I really like what Mizuno did with these T2400s. That the 56 is really, really good. The 58V, if you're a person who definitely likes to manipulate the face, open it up, all that, but you still want a little bit of bounce, 58V is your guy. This one here is a little less, and again, I don't play a lot of 58s. Usually I play 60s, and I don't play them really open and stuff like that. So I was trying to play this thing open and, kind of use it the way it was meant to be used. And I do have to say that I didn't hit the most amazing shots with it, but I think it's one of those that if I got more time with it and got a little time on the short game area, all that, it could easily be dialed in. But I like the fact that the V, when you open that one up, the leading edge doesn't come off near as much. I mean, the club kind of rests down there. All the bounce is kind of pressed forward a little bit into the club head. So as you open it up to play those higher lofted shots, that leading edge stays down, and you're able to get under it even on a tight fairway lie or something like that. There's still enough sole there that when you open it, though, that you can hit it out of the bunker. I hit a few bunker shots on there. If you can see the face on YouTube here, it's got a couple little sand marks there. One of them was pretty much dead center. The one's a little low in the face, but played them out of the sand, and it played pretty good out of there. As long as the sand is a little bit firm. If you're playing super fluffy sand, you're just gonna have to be a little more precise with this thing in order to probably get the maximum performance out of it. If your bunker play struggles and you're playing super fluffy light sand, maybe the V may not be the perfect choice for you, but it definitely is versatile. Opening it up, the thing just glides through any lie. You can get under the ball, hit it up in the air, but it's still got that, just like the 56, kind of that blunted leading edge. So it doesn't dig that hard. I mean, a 58-10, for a lot of guys, that's a lot of bounce on a lob wedge, but it doesn't dig. It had a bigger divot than the 56, but I also wasn't hitting three-quarter full shots of this thing. I was hitting, shots around the green, little high lofted shots and things like that. And it definitely played really well there. And with the V-grind, I kind of like that if you pressed it forward a little bit, you still had a little bit of bounce, and you could kind of play it off a tight line and nip it if you pressed it forward, just the way the bounce sits on the sole kind of midway through. But it was a pretty versatile grind. If you play it just square, you've got some bounce there that you can put into the turf, and it will come up and help get that ball in the air. Or if you press it forward, you can get that leading edge right down on the ground and kind of get under a tight line, nip that ball, hit it low with a ton of spin. And the denim copper looks really cool out there in on the course. You still don't, didn't have any glare to it. The middle section with the grooves, with the milling and the hydro, was it the hydro flow? Jeez, I can't remember. The hydro flow micro grooves. I mean, no glare or anything like that. It looked really good. It frames the ball pretty well, being copper there, but you will see a little bit of wear on it, which is kind of cool. I mean, hitting it out of bunkers, it was pretty awesome that you'd see the front edge of the bounce was all just copper. It kind of took off some of the brush black look to it. But the 58V was really versatile. I think a person who's a little more skilled, like me and a 60 in this, make it along a little bit better just because I'm familiar with the yardages and stuff like that. But if you're a person who really likes to manipulate the face, I think the V-grind played really, really well and gives you those options to not only have some bounce where you need it if it's not super firm, but also, open that face up, play it wide open, and, hit a bunch of different shots with it. These things here, the 56 especially, you can kind of flight it down, hit some lower shots, low, high spin shots, and then, you can kind of work it a little bit, hit it up high, kind of do whatever you want with it. And as I said before, the leading edge on this 58, a little bit of roundness, but not much at all. Again, I think Mizuno did a great job with the shaping, very round wedges, but again, from hosel into top line, hosel into leading edge, they did a good job keeping those really clean, unobstructed. They don't look too out of place. They don't have any weird angles, anything like that. And just overall, visually, I think a really, really good look. So the wedges, I think, are really, really solid. I think, if you're somebody kind of searching for new wedges this year and kind of want to try a bunch of different stuff out there, the T24s are definitely worth trying. I mean, especially if you're somebody who's looking for something soft, like you love good feel, soft feel in a wedge, the T24s are going to be really, really impressive in terms of the feel. I knew they were going to be good, and then I took them out to hit them, and I was just like, man, yeah, they're good. They just feel really, really good. So if that's kind of one of your main, you look at what you're looking for out of your set of wedges, and soft feels kind of number one or number two. These are definitely worth trying out, and they spin well on any lie. They spin really well. They're consistent. You're not going to get any kind of weird shots that pop out of the rough or something that just spin and go like crazy. But you're not going to also get anything that you hit off a tight lie, it checks up immediately. You kind of know it's going to check up pretty hard. So it does all those things really well, and I think Mizuno adding some new grinds and all that, they've really kind of opened up and going to make these more golfers want to try them. People are going to want to give these a whirl and try these things out. So I was really really very impressed with them. I think a lot of people who go out and give them a shot are going to be impressed as well. And there's going to be more options with the grinds for people who need something specific or place specific ways or conditions. So all those things are available to you now, which is pretty awesome. So T24s, I really like the raw. I didn't take a raw out, but I really like the raw. I think if I was to build a set, I'd probably go a 50. The 5008's a little a touch less bounce than I'd want. I would think about going 4810. And the S-grind, bending it back to 50 for a 5012. Because I played 5012 Vokies, but do that raw and then go the 56S. I think that thing was solid. I played it really well. And then probably the 6010 C-grind would probably be the three that I would go if I was kind of building my own set. So 10 degrees on that, C-grind, good amount of relief. I think that would be a good set, all raw. That'd be pretty awesome. Let them rust, and they'd look really good. So if you go to MizunoGolf.com, check out the new T24 wedges. You can check out all the specs, all the stuff they offer. It's pretty nice, and they're really solid. I was really impressed with them. So if you're looking for new wedges this year, I think they should be on your list to try. Even if you're a guy who always plays Vokey, Cleveland, whatever, like that's just your thing. I think you owe it to yourself to give those a try, and I think you'll be pretty impressed with the feel and the performance. So check out the new Mizuno T24 Wedges, and I think that's all I've got. I think that's it. I think I'm going to call it quits there, and it's Thursday, so it's golf time. Get out, play a little bit, and I don't have too many more rounds in the league, and then I'll probably switch to playing Thursdays because my daughter has dance on Thursdays, so I'll probably switch to Wednesdays and play then, and then maybe if we're not too crazy busy out there, hopefully I can get back to doing like a little live, doing questions and stuff like that while I play. I always had fun doing that, but it's just hard when there's like 4 other guys and there's tons of stuff going on. It's tough to do. So we'll see what I can do. But that's all I've got today. Hey, if you don't follow me, follow me on Instagram, please do at Club Junkie Pod. I broke 9,000 followers. Thank you. I know that's not that big of a deal, but it's a big deal to me. It means a lot. And if you're if you could follow me there, that'd be awesome. And if you're listening to this whatever podcast platform, please subscribe, like, whatever. All that stuff helps us grow and helps me, justify doing this. And then also, if you want to watch on YouTube, search Golf 3X Radio, and we're on there as well. And if you could like, subscribe, all that jazz on there, that'd be awesome as well. So hopefully you guys have a good week. Hopefully you have a good weekend. Play some golf if you can, and we'll see you next Thursday.